Look, you got a business to run, and I have a website to teach you how to make. Let's save both of ourselves some time and let AI do a lot of the heavy lifting so that by the end of this video, you have a fully launched website for your business. When we're done, you'll have a business site that could be used for any business that you might need. Plumbing, electrical, roofing, real estate, AC technician, movers, cleaning services, you name it. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to get your own domain name and hosting. How to use Hostinger AI web builder to instantly build a complete website for any kind of business. How to fully customize your site for your specific needs using Hostinger's editor. How to create a logo using AI. And lastly, how to make your website look good on all responsive modes from desktop all the way to mobile. I'm also going to show you guys a bonus step to charge for appointments towards the end of the tutorial. So stick around with me till the end. Let's get started with step number 1, which is to get your domain name and web hosting. If you want to build a website, you have to get a domain name and web hosting. Plain and simple. A website literally doesn't exist if you don't have a domain name and a web hosting plan. Now, a domain name is just the address to your website. So it's people will enter into the search bar to find your site. So something like yourwebsite.com. And web hosting, on the other hand, is just renting space on a server that's connected to the internet. Web hosting companies exist all over the world, and they have buildings full of these servers. You can sign up for a plan with them to rent space on one of those servers to have your website accessible online. It's pretty similar to signing up for a phone provider. The domain name is like your phone number, and web hosting is like getting service from Verizon or T-Mobile. If you don't pay your bill, you can't call anyone, and the same thing applies here. There's tons of hosting providers out there, but we recommend Hostinger on this channel because in our opinion, they're the absolute best. They seriously provide the most affordable hosting for what they actually do. Their customer service is just top tier. If you want to sign up for web hosting today and get a custom domain name to build your website so that you guys can follow along with this tutorial, then click on the first link that's down in the description, or you can go to creatoprowebsite.com/hostinger and it'll take you to a special co-branded landing page that we have with them. From here, we can scroll down to see the 3 different plans that they have available for you. There's the single web hosting plan, the premium, and the business plan. I recommend the premium plan or the business plan because you get a ton of included features for the affordable price that you pay. With the premium plan, you get to create up to 100 domain-based emails for your website. So that would look something like levi@yourwebsite.com. You have their unlimited free SSL included in your hosting plan, which is the encryption for your website. You also get a free domain name included in the premium and business packages, which is a huge bonus. You don't have to purchase it separately. You've got unlimited bandwidth to your website, which means they're not going to limit your website's traffic or how many visitors your website can have at the same time. And there's so much more. You guys can make your own decision, but I'm going to go ahead and select the business plan and then go ahead and move on. Next, you guys get to choose the period, basically how often you make your payments. I'm going to choose every 12 months and scroll on down to the payment section. Now, just a heads up, you're going to be paying for all 12 months up front. So you'll see that normal cost is around $191, but you're actually going to be getting it for $59.88, which is a great deal. Also, included in your business hosting plan, you have daily backups for your website, which if it ever gets corrupted or accidentally you delete something, you have backups for your entire website for free. You get your free domain name included, which is usually around $10. And you also have domain privacy protection, which means they're going to protect your personal information, like your phone number and your email, from telemarketers. And you also have a setup fee that's been waived. Now make sure my coupon code is also applied right here. Now you'll see that you're getting that massive discount on your hosting plan. It went from $191 all the way down to $53.89, which is a pretty good deal if you ask me. I'm going to enter in my credit card information and I'll see you guys on the next screen. All right, right after clicking on finish registration, you'll be taken to a page that looks like this. This is the hosting setup screen. And from here, I get to choose if I want to create a new website or not. Next, I'm going to choose Hostinger Builder with AI. Now I get to choose the free domain name that's included with your hosting plan. I also always recommend using a .com because it's the most common and professional looking. And now, friends, we get to move on to step number 2, which is creating your website with AI. With our domain name and hosting out of the way, we can go ahead and move on to the fun part, which is creating your website using AI. I'm going to start by clicking on Create with AI right here. Now, this is a really important step. Hostinger is going to ask you to tell them about your website. Now, this is where you're going to include things like your brand name, what type of website you want, and the description. And this is important. You're giving the description to AI as to what your business is like and what you actually do. You can see an example in the placeholder in the description field, and you can also see another by clicking on the See Example button right here. Now, I went ahead and wrote up my own description about a fake roofing company, so I'm just going to go ahead and paste that in right here. Next, we get to click on Create Website. All right, friends, step number 3 is customizing the website that was just created for you using AI. You're looking at a live preview of the website that AI just just created for you. You can scroll through the entire website like this, and you can also check out the other 2 pages as well. Down at the bottom of your screen, you'll notice the menu options that you can use to make changes to your website. First of all, AI didn't just build you one website, it built you 3. You can choose between the 3 different options like this. Once you've decided on which website you want, you can look at the Styles button to change your font and color of your website. I think I like these options, so I'm going to stick to this one. After that, you have the option to add additional pages to your website. You can add a services page as well as a checkout page and other options as well. They also have additional about pages and contact pages if you don't like the ones that are on your site now. After that, you can still make changes to the website right here before opening the full editor. I can add elements to my website by clicking on the Elements button like this, and I can make changes directly to the website right here on my screen. I'm going to change up the hero section just a bit. I'm going to increase the size by dragging this little icon right here. Then I'm going to add a background image and choose one of the free images that they have available. Lastly, I'm going to center my text and change its color. When you're done making simple changes to your website, you can click on the top right corner of the full website builder, and we can go ahead and start making changes to the entire website. Let's go ahead and jump in and make those changes now.
So the first thing I want to do to this hero section is add a button. So I'm going to go over here to the plus button right here that says add elements. And now these are all of the widgets that I can add to my website. So I'm going to go ahead and click and drag the button into place just like this. And you'll see that I've created a button. And so now what I can do is just click on edit button like this. And let me go ahead and close out of that guy. So when you click on edit button, it's really simple on making button changes. First of all, the text right here just says button. So let's go ahead and say something else like schedule an appointment, just like this. And you'll also notice that it's cutting off my words right here, which looks terrible. So all we have to do is just click on this little side icon right here, and we can literally just drag my button and resize it to where it looks appropriate. So I think something like that looks pretty good in terms of sizing. So now I'm going to edit the button again. And now let's go ahead and change the background color of the button because it's not matching the rest of the website. We can go over here to the style tab like this, and we can change the fill color. Let's go ahead and select the, the primary color right here for the website, this light blue, so that it attracts attention to people. And then also you'll notice that every time I hover, it goes to this gray. So what we're going to do is we'll go over to the hover style just like this. And now I can change the hover settings. So the fill color can go to this blue again, and then maybe I'll just make it a little bit brighter, so something like this. And so now whenever I hover my mouse over it, it does this blue animation, which looks pretty good. I think that looks better than turning gray. Okay, so now that we added in a button to the hero section, I think the hero section looks pretty good, so we can scroll on down. And now we've got this initial about section. Now, if you guys want to make changes to your text, it's really cool. AI is integrated throughout the hosting or website builder. So whenever I click on text like this, I'm editing this paragraph. I can either edit the text myself by clicking like this, and now I can literally type wherever I want to. So as you can see, I'm just typing. There we go. But what I can also do is click back out of it, and before hitting edit text, I can have AI assist me with this text. And again, this is kind of similar to ChatGPT, where if I click on it, I can tell AI to just write me a paragraph about whatever I want. So for instance, I could write something like this. All right, so something like this, then I can hit generate text, and AI is going to do it for me, which is pretty cool. Now, you'll also notice, just while that's writing, you'll notice that AI went ahead and filled your entire website with a whole bunch of text, so you didn't have to write anything for your website, which is pretty cool. And we're going to come down here and fix that in just a second, but let's go ahead and see what AI writes for us. Okay, wow. So it looks like it created 2 individual paragraphs. So let's go ahead and try that again. So I'm going to go AI assist just like this. I'm going to go ahead and just rewrite this and just say, keep it short. And let's try again. So I'm going to hit generate text and see if it can come up with something a little bit shorter. Okay. Wow, so an error occurred. Interesting. So let me go ahead and try refreshing the page and try this again because it looked like it made it longer, which is weird. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on the save button right over here, and then I'll just refresh the page real quick. Wow, so that looks so much shorter. After refreshing the page, it was a lot easier for it to work. I don't know why it had a little error there, but anyways, anytime I click on text and use the AI assist, it's really cool how I can use AI to write content for the website without even having to lift a finger. So that's pretty cool. So now that you guys know how to edit text, you can literally just click on it and click on edit text, and that goes for any text on your entire website. So if I ever want to click on first of all like this, I can say edit the text right here, and I could type something out. So I could do something like that. So now that we know how to edit text, I'll let you guys kind of play around with editing the text on your website because obviously this is your business, so you'll have to come in here, and if you have different services, you'll click on edit text and you'll write out whatever you guys want to do. So let's go ahead and talk about changing images instead, which is really easy to do as well. All you got to do is just click on it like this, and then you can literally edit the image right here. And so I can go ahead and replace this image. So let's just say instead of my about section having a picture of, I don't know, roofing tiles like this, maybe instead I could go and edit the image and I can replace it and look through all the free images online that they have available. I'm going to search for roofing, and instead maybe I choose a different image. So maybe something like this, or maybe I can get a team photo, which is pretty cool. Maybe I do this one because it looks like they're building a whole building, but look at all those guys up on the roof. That's so many people. But you guys can choose whatever image looks best for you guys. I was looking for just a small construction team, but let's just pick this one just out of randomness. So that's how you guys can replace an image. You can also obviously resize it by just dragging like this, which is pretty cool. So if you guys want it to kind of match the bottom of your text paragraph, you can literally just drag it down just like this. So that's how I'm going to leave my about section. I think it looks pretty good. We can scroll down and we've got the expertise section as well as the services section. And again, I'll let you guys kind of play around with what you want. I don't know why it's showing paint when we do roofing. So let's go ahead and just change this image up real quick. So I'll replace the image and we'll go over to free images and let's just look up something for roofing. And we can come in here and just pick another random picture like this guy right here. And that looks pretty good. Also, I don't like how far this paragraph is away. So you can literally just drag anything you want, which is really cool. So let's go ahead and just center it up with that text and drag it underneath. And then I might just increase the section height just a little bit like this to make it look a little more normal. I'm gonna do the same thing to this one because I think it looks weird. So we'll just drag that up a little bit so it looks like this. And we can drag that down just a smidge as well. Cool. So now we've got this really cool section here where we've got the image kind of bouncing back and forth between the left-hand side, then it goes to the right, and then over here to the left-hand side. And the text is obviously doing the opposite. So the text goes from left to right and then back to, or left to right to left or whatever. So now we can go ahead and edit this last section right here, which actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this text down to this blue area right here. And then what I'm going to do is actually create a new section for testimonials because I think that would be a really useful thing to have on your business website, especially if this is a roofing company. You want people to know that you guys do good work and that people are happy with what you've done. So let's go ahead and move everything around. First, I'm just going to go ahead and right click and just delete this text right here. And we can make this section just a little bit bigger by just dragging it, which is pretty easy. Over here, you can drag this into this section just like this, which is pretty easy. And then we can just drag this one in as well. And then we're just going to delete this section right here by clicking on the delete button. And so now, as you can see, we've got our text here, but it's really hard to see. So I'm gonna click on it, edit the text, and change the color to white. And then I'm also gonna center the text like this. And then if I want to, I can also expand this so that my text is kind of stretched a little bit better. Maybe something like this, so it looks a little bit more balanced, but it's still off-centered though. It's not bad, but I could even stretch it even more if I wanted to. So I can move it out to here, and then I can move this one out to here like this, so it's all in one line. That's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and edit this text as well, and just change the color to white, just like this. I think it looks pretty good. And I can drag this underneath as well, and then what I'm gonna do is actually shrink it. And I also forgot to center it, so let's go ahead and edit the text again and center it just like this. And we can move it to the middle just like that. Make sure it snaps in place. Expand the section a little bit. And then lastly, we can put down here like a little button if we want to schedule appointments. And so I'll go down here and click on the button right here and we can drag this in. Make sure it's centered and we can edit and say, schedule a consultation, something like this. And we can go over to the style tab and change the color. So let's choose blue as the regular color, and then we can go to the hover color and change it to this lighter blue right here. And then let's also just expand the button so it looks a lot better and center it, maybe a little bit farther down. And this also needs to come down. There we go. Okay, so experience and craftsmanship that you can trust. What we can do is actually come in here and actually use AI to write a paragraph about scheduling a consultation. So let's do that now. Okay, perfect. So now what we can do is it generated that second paragraph down below, so we can actually just edit the text. We can just select all of this and delete it, and we'll move this up like this. If you're in need of roofing services, don't hesitate to schedule a consultation with Summit Roofing, and it's going to explain why you should do it. So that's pretty cool how AI wrote that, and I didn't even have to. Just again, saving you so much time. So now we can put this somewhere like this. Okay, so I think so far the website's looking really good. Obviously now it's customized to be your roofing website, and AI took care of all the writing, so I don't even have to do anything. And now we've got these buttons that we haven't even hooked up to go anywhere. So if you click on edit button, we haven't even linked it to anything, but you'll notice that we can link it to something, and don't worry, we're gonna link it somewhere later on in the video. So you guys hold on tight. But for now, we've got this contact form at the very bottom, which I think is perfectly fine because you're also gonna have one on the contact page. As you can see, it's right here, which that text needs to come down just a little bit. So we'll do that. But well, let's actually move everything down. So I'm just gonna highlight all of this and move it down at the same time, just like this. There we go. So it looks a little bit more separated, as you can see. But we already have a contact form on the contact page. So if you wanted to, on the home page, you could delete this entire section, but personally, I'm just gonna leave it. So now let's go ahead and just add that testimonial section. And so the way I'm gonna do that is click on add section just like this. And we'll go over here to testimonials. And I think this one looks pretty good. So I'm just gonna click on this guy right here, and it's gonna instantly add it into our website, which is pretty cool. Now, obviously you can't have AI write your testimonials. You're gonna have to actually get testimonials from your clients, whether that be email or text or whatever, so that you can quote them on your website. And so I'll let you guys do that on your own. It's really simple to make changes to this testimonial section. All you do is you ask your client if you can have a picture of them, and and then you can upload it right here. And the way that you would do that is you just click on this image, and then you can replace the image, and then you would upload files from your computer just like this, and now you could pull whatever file you want from your computer. So when they email you a picture of themselves, like a little portrait, you guys can upload it to your computer and then put it in here, which is pretty cool. And then you guys can obviously resize it. And then if you want to change the text, again, it's really easy. You just click on edit text and you can literally paste whatever they quote about your company right here. And then you can also obviously change their name. So it's very easy to do. You can also, if you want to, and this is kind of just a personal preference, I'm going to highlight everything and just kind of move it up a little bit. I think it's just a little too far spaced from the title. So I'm just going to kind of move it up just a smidge, just like that. But there is your testimonial section, just like that. Pretty easy to do and pretty fast. So I think that looks pretty good. So now that we're done with this, we can move over to the contacts page like this. And if you guys wanted to make some changes to this, you totally could. The first being this map. If you want to edit the map, you can left click on it and you can click on edit map and you'll see the map settings. Literally, you just put in your address right here. So I'm just going to say Austin, Texas, because that's where I am. And it's linked to Google Maps through API keys. So when you search it, it's actually searching Google Maps to find this. So you don't have to even be very specific. You could put in your actual business address if you have a physical address, but if not, you can just put in like the city that you work in right here. And you can also play around with animations, like if you want things to fade in, but we're not going to play around with that just yet. So once you guys put in your address, you're pretty much done, and we can close out of that guy just like that. And then obviously you guys know how to edit your own images. You can click on edit image and you can replace this to be whatever you want by going to free images, or you can upload your own pictures, which I obviously recommend you doing if you have your own business. And then obviously you can replace that image as well. Okay, so lastly, we can go over to the services page just like this. And now this obviously is where you're gonna enter in your own personal services. So whatever you actually do, you're gonna put them in here. You can have AI help you write them to a certain extent, but most of the time you're gonna have to come in here and actually type a little paragraph about what your services are. So you would say services number one, you know, if you do like roof installations, then you would say our experienced architects or our experienced roofers install roofs for you within 24 hours, blah, blah, blah. And then this one might be roof repair. And then you would say, you know, our certified professionals will come up there and repair any holes that you have in your roof. And then this one and that one and that one and that one. So I'll let you guys enter in your own services. Again, it's really easy. You literally just click on edit text like this, and you guys can make changes to whatever you want right here. And then you guys can change the images that appear right here, which would obviously be pictures of your guys doing the job or you doing the job. So if you can get your own pictures, that's better. If not, again, you can always just use the free images that they have available online. So these are like royalty-free images that you can use. Okay, so now that the services page is explained, we can go over to the about page as well. Now the about page, I would also recommend not using AI to write. This might be something that you use AI to give you like a rough draft for, and then you're going to go ahead and enter in your own personal information. Now, obviously you could come in here and give AI a whole bunch of details about your company and have it write it for you. But I think it always just sounds better if it has a little bit more of a personal touch on the about section specifically, because that's when you're actually talking about you. So you don't want it to sound professional. You want it to sound a little more conversational, but that's all up to you guys. So again, you guys can change your services and history, I guess. This isn't actually an about paragraph. Maybe down below you have your people and culture, so you can talk about people here. But instead of services and history, maybe instead what you can say is about us and our history, or Summit Roofing and our history, or something like that. So let's actually change it. And our history, something like this. And let's go ahead and capitalize our titles, shall we? And our history. Just like that. Okay, so that's an example of, you know, you change your text right here, and then you guys can write out your own little section about y'all's company. Okay, so I'm gonna click on the home button to go back to the home page of our website. Okay, so now that we've done changes to the website, or I'm assuming you guys obviously put in your own pictures to your website and things like that. Now that we're finished and our website's almost up and running, we can go ahead and edit the header right here, so we can enter in our logo over here on the left-hand side, and then we can edit the navigation menu as well. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do that right now.
Before we make any pages or start making any changes to the navigation, I wanted to show you guys how to add a logo to the header of your website. And I also want to show you guys how to build a logo using AI inside of Hostinger. Check this out.
So from here, we're going to go over here to this left-hand menu, as you can see. And if I click on add elements, it's going to kind of expand it a little bit. So we're going to click on AI tools right here. And you've got 3 different AI tools that you guys can use inside of Hostinger when you're building your website. One of them being a logo maker, which is absolutely incredible. So we're going to click on logo maker, and then it's going to ask us, tell us about your brand. And so I'll say my brand name is Summit Roofing. Just like that. And then my slogan is optional, but might as well put it. I'm going to take the slogan that's kind of right here. So let's just copy this like this, because AI wrote it for me, and by golly, it's a great slogan. So we're going to use it. All right, Control V or Command V. So just like that. So we've got the slogan, and now we've got our brand industry, which I'm going to say this is a roofing company. just like this. Start creating. And then it's going to ask us what kind of an icon style do we want? So do we want a precise icon like this, a precise icon that's linear art or lineart, whatever, however you want to say that. Precise icon 3D, which I don't usually go for 3D icons. We've got lettermark icons, which I kind of like, abstract icons and shapes. We've got abstract 3D, those kinds of things. So you guys can kind of pick what you think looks good. I think abstract shape is what I'm going to go for, or an abstract icon. Let's do the icon one first, and we'll click on this. And now, as you can see, if I want to generate an abstract icon, I can generate it, but it's going to take 1 credit, and you only get 1 free credit to use AI. So if you guys want to buy more credits, you can. But I wanted to show you that you can create a logo still for free. Well, technically included in your hosting package, but you get 1 AI credit included for free, so you might as well use it. So we're going to generate an abstract icon just like this. Go. All right, so it looks like it's actually going to count down, which is kind of cool. I'm going to go ahead and speed this up for you guys. Okay, cool. And so now we used our 1 credit, so now you can see that we have 0 left. But as you can see, it created, so you get 4 of them, which is kind of cool. As you guys can see, I've done this a couple times off camera just to kind of play around with it for a different website, so that's fun. But we've got Summit Roofing, 4 different logos, and they're actually pretty good. I think this one's kind of one of my favorites. I like how it's got like the most of a graphic here. This one's pretty cool too. I like how it's on the side, but usually I like centered logos. That's just kind of like a personal preference. We've got the Summit Roofing over here with like this little circle. I think this one is better than this one, and this one's a little too plain for my taste. So I think I'm going to go ahead and use this one right here, so we can click on it just like this, and then we can still make changes to the logo after AI created it for us, which is pretty cool. We've got the name Summit Roofing right here. We've got the slogan, Premier Roofing Company in Aspen Valley. I'm not sure why AI decided to put me in Aspen Valley, but you know, that's where I exist now, is in Aspen. That's cool. We've got the font family right here, which is Oswald, but you guys can click and choose whichever one you want. I mean, if you wanted to use Pacifico, it would look something like this, which actually doesn't look half bad. I think I'm going to keep that. But next we have the icon, which we can change the icon if we want, which is going to use another credit, I believe. Let's click on it right here. Yeah, so if you want to use an AI drawn icon, it's going to use a credit, but you can look at their library, which is pretty plain, if you ask me. So I'm not going to change it. But you can change the icon if you don't like it, which is pretty cool. Or you can just completely regenerate logos over and over again if you guys are willing to pay for the credits. But for a free logo, this ain't bad. So we've got the icon is done. We've got the icon scale, so we can make it bigger or smaller depending on if we want the text bigger or the icon bigger, which to be honest, I think kind of just like a equal logo looks good. Maybe I don't think it looks good with the logo or the icon being too big, so maybe something pretty much where it was before I even changed it, but you know, I think it looks great. And then we've got the space between the icon and text, so I can basically move the icon farther away or closer, which is kind of interesting, but I'm just going to kind of equally space them all out. And then lastly, I've got the layout, which right now it's centered on top, as you can see. So the circle is the icon and then the text is the line. I can put the icon below, I can put it on the right, or I can put it on the left. But I think the centered looks good like that. I can also change the colors around if I want to. So for Summit Roofing, if I want, I can leave the name and slogan in black if I want to, or if I want, I can click here and maybe I want to add like a cool orange color or something like this. You know, you can play around with whatever you guys want. Or I think the website color is like blue, which I'd want to actually copy the hex code from my website and put it in here. But for lack of effort and laziness, what I'm actually going to do is just kind of select a color that kind of looks closest to it, and we're going to leave it just like that. But I have my logo ready to go. And so what we're going to do is just download it for free, just like this. Pretty cool. And so now we have logo downloaded to our computer. Now you guys also have the option, instead of using AI to build a logo, you can literally just create a logo inside of Hostinger on your own for free. So you can create one yourself. And as you can see, again, you can choose an icon and you guys put your text in here. So if I was going to create a logo myself, I might still kind of put it on top because again, I told you I like that centered look, but maybe I'd change my icon to be something like a mountain. So that's kind of cool. But instead of a mountain, let's actually do a roof because this is a roofing company. And then you guys can pick whichever roof you think looks good. This one looks pretty cool. That one's kind of geometric as well. I think I'm going to select this one and obviously make it a lot bigger. And I'm going to remove the space. So something like this. And then now I have complete control over the icon. So I could change the color of the icon instead if I wanted to, which I think the color was something like that. So that's pretty cool. And I can change the text if I want to, and I can change like the colors of these. But honestly, I'm not really going to do much changing except for maybe making a white logo instead. And we can pick what we're going to use from here. But now you can't see it, but it's still there. Okay, so once you're done, you can just click on download for free right here and you're good to go. As you can see, I've got logo 1 and I've got logo, which if I click on the folder button, let's just go ahead and call this logo white. Completely different logos. You wouldn't want to make completely different logos. I'm just doing this so that you guys can see two different types of logos on the website. One is dark and one is light, and I'll show you guys why in just a second. But once you guys are done making a logo inside of the logo maker, you can just go back to your website, which is going to open on a new tab, obviously. So I'm just going to close out of the X button right here. Okay, so from here, what we can do is just click up here, and now we're editing the header. We've got the layout, the logo, and then the style right here. So for the logo, I'm just going to replace this text with the actual logo that we just created. So let's go ahead and upload the file from our computer. I'll just upload both of them to show you guys. All right, so let's go ahead and use the white logo because on this dark background, it's going to be the best and easiest to see, so we could select it like this. And now we have our logo on our website, which is pretty cool.
Now that we have a logo on our website, we can make some changes to the header and navigation of our website.
There's a lot of text on that logo for my liking, but again, I'm just kind of creating a free logo for you guys just as an example, just to show you guys how to do it. So you might not want to have, a whole sentence down here, but that's completely up to you guys, of course. So once we add our logo, we can choose the logo width, which is basically just the size of the logo. So as I drag it, it just gets massive or small, as you can see. So maybe we want kind of like a middle size like this. And then we can change the menu item spacing, which isn't doing anything right now, but it should be changing this. Maybe it's under layout instead. Yeah, menu item spacing is what's going to change the spacing of your menu items. I'm not sure why the menu item spacing is not changing here. Oh, maybe that's when you center it. So let's go ahead and center it like this. We'll go to the layout and we'll center it like this. And so now under logo, I bet you it's going to, yeah, there it is. So that's the vertical changing, as you can see, which actually I personally like it centered like this. So I'm actually going to leave it. But if you guys want to, you can change your logo position to be on the left, and you can go to the layout, and you can change your menu position to be on the right. And so that's how you get the left-right look. But again, personally, I'm going to go with centered because I think it looks better for this website. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to show you guys how to do is how to make this header transparent and sticky. So first of all, we can make the sticky header by just clicking on it like this. So now whenever I drag through the website, if I preview, I'm assuming, yes, there we go. So now my header stays as I scroll through the website, which can bother some people. So it's a personal preference to you guys, but that's how you can make a sticky header. So we're going to go ahead and close out of this preview. There we go, by clicking on the back button. Interesting. Normally there's a back to website over here in the corner, so I'm not sure why that wasn't there. But editing the header again, we can turn off make a sticky header, but we can go over here to the style tab and we can choose to use a transparent header, which I think looks so much cooler on modern websites. Every once in a while, you're going to want to actually have a color back there, but personally, I like transparent headers. Again, it's a personal decision, but I think it looks fantastic. So now we've got our header. Let's go ahead and save and preview. Is transparent on our website, which is kind of cool. And you guys have your menu options here. See here, now there's the back to editor button. That was weird how it didn't show this preview mode banner. So anyways, we'll just hit back to editor just like this. Okay, so now that we're done with editing the header, we've got the transparent header, which looks good, and then we also have the logo and our menu items right here. One thing that you're gonna have to pay attention to is if you add a transparent header to this page, it's also gonna be transparent on the other pages. And so if I go over to the contacts page, it's transparent as well. Services page, transparent. And as you can see, it's kind of a problem because you can't see your menu options right here because it's a white background. So what you might wanna do is actually add a section up on top of the services, make it blank, just like this. And then from here, what you'll do is edit the section and add a background image. Let's just pick a random one for now. So we'll say add to page, and let's darken it, obviously, by like a lot. And we can shrink this up here like this. And so now it looks like there's actually something there. So that's an example of what you guys could do. So that's for the services page. The contact page is fine because it's kind of like the whole page is blue basically. So we don't really need to make a change to that. Services page, I needed something back there. We can go to the about page, also a problem. So we can do the same thing. Let's just add a section right on top, make it blank, edit the section, add an image to the background, and let's go find another free image. I'm running out of good roof pictures. Let's just use this one. Obviously, you guys would want to be a little bit more choosy about what images you use for the background of your website, but I am just kind of making this work. So we'll do that, drag it up. Something like that. Okay, so there's an example of having a header that's still transparent, but for the rest of the website, you got to make sure there's something behind it so you don't have just a white background behind it. So I think that looks pretty good. All right, so now that we're done making changes to the header, we can scroll on down to the bottom of the website and we can make changes to the footer down here, and we can just click on it and we can say edit the section down here, which is basically our footer, as you can see. It's pretty much the same as editing the header. We can put an image back here if we wanted to, but honestly, the footer is fine looking white. You don't really need to make changes here. We can go ahead and change this text. We can delete it, and we can go up here and add an element, and let's just add an image down here. There we go. So we've added an image down here, and what we're gonna do is change the image to be our logo. And so let's go ahead and select this bad boy right here. We'll shrink it. Okay, so it's not gonna shrink. Awesome. Let's go ahead and shrink it like this. All right, I think that looks pretty good. We'll move it over here to be level in the center with these icons over here. I think that looks good. And then what we can do is shrink the footer back to a normal size, so something like this. And then maybe what we're gonna do is just change the background color of the footer. So let's go ahead and just change it to a color, and we'll select one of the darker colors, so something like this. Yep, so there you go. There's your footer. We've got the logo at the bottom, which seems a little off-center actually in terms of verticality, so let's go ahead and move it up just a little bit, just like that. And then what we can do is actually edit our social icons as well. First of all, the thing I'm gonna do is change the color because the color is wrong. It needs to be white so it matches the logo over here. Also, personal preference, I'm actually gonna change the footer to be a little bit darker. So let's pick maybe this one. Yeah, I don't know why, I just wanted a darker footer. So we're gonna click here, edit the social icons. And so this is where we're gonna add in your social icons so that people, when they click on like Instagram right here, it's gonna take them to your Instagram page. The way you do that is, as you can see, I can just click on the settings button right here and say edit, and I can literally just put in the URL to my Instagram page. So what you would have to do is go up to a new tab, go to Instagram, like this, log into your Instagram account, copy the URL, and then just paste it right in here, which I don't have an Instagram account. I haven't created a fake one to put onto this website for Summit Roofing, but you guys get the idea. You would just put in your Instagram account right here and then click the check button. Then you would do the same thing, edit your Facebook and then your Twitter if you wanted to. And then if you guys wanted to, you can delete one. So if I want to remove Twitter, I can delete it. And then I can add a new link if I wanted to. So let's go ahead and try something like, so let's pretend I have a YouTube channel. I would just put in my YouTube link right here, click check, and you'll notice that it's automatically gonna pull the favicon from whatever website you're looking at and place it right here as an icon, which is pretty freaking cool. So now that I have my social icons done, and I'm assuming you guys would have done that, you can reorder them by obviously just dragging them like this if you want. But other than that, we're done. And anytime someone clicks on one of these, let me go ahead and preview and show you guys. Go down to the bottom. So anytime someone clicks on one of these, it's going to take them straight to the link that was inside of that button, which is obviously Instagram, for instance. And if they click on YouTube, it should take them to YouTube, as you can see, and the same with Facebook. Okay, so now that our footer is done, let's go ahead and talk about the different pages of your website. Because first of all, what's been bothering me is the fact that it goes from home to contact, and it says contacts, which is supposed to be contacts singular. So let's go ahead and make these changes right now. I want to rearrange my navigation menu. Really easy to do. Let's go back into the builder, which I'm not in. I think I'm still in the preview. There we go. Again, weird it didn't have that back to editor button, but it's no big deal. From here, if I want to make a change to this, I can just go over here to pages and navigation, and I can literally just reorder them by dragging them like this. And so this is usually your standard order: home, about, services, contact. Also, I'm going to change this. Let's go and rename it. And you guys saw how I did that. I just click on settings and then just rename it. And let's just remove the yes, for the love of God. Okay, there we go. Contact, because it's a contact page. Get in contact, singular, with me. Okay. Click on save. Okay, so now that we have rearranged our navigation menu, you guys can also add new pages to your website if you want. Really easy to do. You can come down here to add page, just like this. It's gonna open up this add page templates where you guys can look through the different templates of pages. So like if you have projects you're working on, you can do, these are some templates that you guys can use. You've got like a refund policy page, you've got, you know, all these things. And so you guys can pick whatever page you want. Let's just pretend I'm gonna add a projects page, and I think this one looks better, this one right over here. And so now I just added a products page, just like that. It was literally 2 clicks. I just click on add page, and then I selected, okay, so 3 clicks, and then I chose a product page. But that was pretty fast. And now all I have to do is just change the pictures and change the text, and I'm done. And AI is gonna help with the text, which is pretty fast. But over here under pages and navigation, you can see all the pages on your website. So if I go back to the home page, just by clicking on it, you'll see that now projects has also appeared on this navigation bar. I can also rearrange them if I want to, but honestly, I'm just going to delete this projects page. You guys can keep it if you want to. You guys can also add an entire blog or e-commerce, like online store, into your website, literally with a click of a button. You've got the blog button right here, and you could literally enter a blog just by clicking on start blog. And then you can do the same thing with an online store by just clicking on add store. But those are 2 other individual videos for another day, because I would have to show you guys how to build a blog or how to build an e-commerce store. So for today, we're just focusing on a regular business website just to get you guys on the internet. But you know, if you guys are interested in having that, go ahead and drop a comment down in the description or down in the comments below. Go ahead and just let me know. But anyways, we'll go ahead and close out of that guy. So that's what these 2 buttons do. So we've got add element right here, which adds different elements to your website. Pages and navigation, which you guys already know what it does. We've got website styles right here, which you guys don't really need to worry about. It just shows all of the colors on the color palette for your website, and you guys can change them if you want to. And then you guys can also change text options. So right now I'm using enter, which I selected at the beginning of when we created this website. remember that styles button that was down at the bottom of our website, we selected enter as the text. So instead of choosing enter, I could choose different font categories now. And these are like automatic presets, if you will. We can go to buttons. So here, let me just show you guys really quickly. Like if I choose Pasta 1, it's going to be all changes will be made and deleted, keep changes or not, which I'm not really going to do, but you guys can literally just click one and it'll change all of the font on your website, which is cool. You can do the same thing for buttons. You can make all your buttons, instead of looking rectangular like this, you could say they look like circles, like rounded edges. And so now that's what it looks like. Or I could do this one where they are still square, but with rounded edges. But as you can see, it's going to do that to every button. So even if I go down to this button, it also changes it. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so the last thing that we have is the animations tab. And so animation is basically just how your website is going to load every time someone comes to the page and then as they scroll. So if I choose fade like this, you'll see that everything on the website as I scroll through would fade into existence. Let me click on save really quickly and go to preview. You see how it faded like that? It fades upward. And then if I scroll down, you see how it fades up. It just adds like a little animation to as you scroll through the website. On the other hand, if you turn it off, watch this. Okay, so that's everything under the website styles button right here. So we've already done elements, pages, website styles. And then we've got blog right here, and then also e-commerce or online store right here, which basically clicking on this is the same thing as going to pages and then trying to add a blog like this. So anyways, you're basically just adding a blog or a store onto your website. Then we have the AI tools, which we've got the logo maker, which we already looked at. We've got an AI heat map, which is kind of interesting, but I don't really use it that often. If we click on it, it's going to use AI to look at your website and generate an attention map. And so basically showing where people's eyes are going to focus on your website. To be honest, it's a bit obvious, so I don't think this feature is really that useful at all. But as soon as it's done generating, I'll show you guys what it looks like. And so this is your AI heat map. Obviously, the red areas are where people are going to look the most, and then green, and then all the way to blue, and then nothing. And so, and as you can see right here, so more attention, less attention, and then here's your color scheme, kind of like the weather. And so as I scroll through, no way people are going to focus on the button and on the text. They're not going to be like looking off over here into space. Like it's kind of obvious. And then if I scroll on down, it says they're going to read the title and then probably look at the picture. And then they're going to look at that guy, which is accurate. I mean, my eyes went immediately to the guy. I'm not like looking over here. I'm looking at the guy, and then I read the title. And again, I read the title, and it looks at the guy, and then it's going to say, what are people going to look at? No way. They're going to look at the picture and the text. That's crazy. So it's pretty obvious like what people are going to look at. So I don't think the AI heat map is like that cool, but you know, that's how you can turn it on if you want to see like what people are going to be looking at, what AI thinks people are going to look at, but that's that option. And then lastly, you have the AI writer, which basically is the same thing as you clicking on AI assist right here. But what you can do is you click on AI tools, AI writer, you would have to select a topic, which by the way, roofing company, not in here. So you can't really use anything in here except for like professional services or maybe small business. And then if we go under small business, I don't see roofing anywhere. And if I go to professional services, there's no roofer anywhere. Small business, closest thing might be like an architect portfolio. So I can click on this and it's going to say, what kind of a paragraph do you want to write? Because again, this is an AI writer. And so maybe I want to do like a personal bio or history. I click on it, generate text, and it's going to generate multiple paragraphs and I get to choose which one I use. But again, it's a little too cookie cutter because I'm building a roofing website and none of those options are for a roofer. As a passionate business, small business owner, I successfully built and managed multiple ventures, overcoming challenges. And okay, cool. These are all about, here we go, architectural achievements and not roofing. And so this might work for you guys. Like for instance, if you guys are building, for example, like a photography business or something like that, you guys could go to, you know, personal services like this and then say you're a photographer and then, oh, cool, I can write an about section for a photograph or for a photographer website. But you could do the exact same thing by just coming down here, literally clicking on AI assist and saying, hey, write an about paragraph for a photographer. Basically the same thing, but you have it under AI tools. And then finally, you have analytics right here, which is where you can see how many people are visiting your website and all of that stuff, which it's not available because obviously I haven't even published the website yet, but this is where you would see your analytics. Let's go ahead and close out of that tab. And then you've got languages down here, which you can try and translate your website into different languages, which is pretty cool. And so you guys can select different languages here and it'll try to automatically update your website. So that's pretty cool. So that is how you guys use the builder for like the hosting or AI builder. And so now we've got a complete website done and AI did most of the work. You guys just had to change out a couple pictures and put a button here and there. So it's pretty cool. Make sure your work is saved before we move on.
In this step, we're going to be checking the mobile responsive mode. This basically means that we just built our entire website for the desktop view, but we have to double check that the website looks good on the mobile view as well, which is more of a vertical rectangle. Now, this website was already built by AI to look good on all responsive modes, but because we made some changes, it's always just a good idea to double check our work. So let's go ahead and do that now.
So whenever you want to check your website's mobile view, you can just go up here and you'll see desktop is right here, and we can click on mobile, and then you get to see what your website looks like on mobile. And so as you can see, we created a button on mobile. It doesn't look right. On desktop, it does. And so watch this. If I make a change on mobile, click on this button and make it super long and over here to the right. If I go back to desktop, you'll see that it doesn't change the button at all. So as you're creating things for the first time, it affects both versions. So when I add a new button, it's going to be on both versions, how I added it. But if I make changes on the desktop version to this button, it's not going to affect the mobile version of this button, and vice versa. See how I just made changes to this button and it didn't make any changes over here? So anything that you do in the mobile view isn't going to change the desktop. So now what I can do is recenter my text like this, and I can actually shrink the button if I want to. So maybe let's make the button a little bit smaller, and then maybe I can go in here and edit the text, and I can reduce the text size a little bit. So let's go down to like 10 or maybe 11. It's going to be kind of hard to read, but you guys get the idea. We can kind of expand it a little bit. And then I can kind of make the hero section a little bit taller so it's easier to see and fit on the screen. Next, I can go ahead and shrink this text as well. So I can edit the text and kind of make it a little bit smaller than 38. So let's go down to 32. And then we can edit this text as well and make it like 16. And then we can shrink it here. Perfect. So now everything fits. We've got our logo on the left-hand side, and then we have the little hamburger icon that opens up our navigation menu over here on the right-hand side. If you guys want to edit the header, you can, and you'll see that the menu position is on the right, and then the logo is on the left. And again, this is for the mobile view. So if I go back, you'll notice that nothing's changing on the desktop view, including how my thing is centered. So if I want to, I can leave my logo here, or I could center it and then go back over here and center this as well underneath, which I think for the mobile view, I actually think I'm going to leave it on the right personally. We'll do that. And then we'll put the logo on the left just like this. So that's what my hero section looks like. I can also make it a little bit bigger if I wanted to. So something like that. Well, it keeps dragging or automatically moving, which is weird. There we go. And I can kind of highlight all of this stuff if I can get my mouse in here, and I can, there we go. And we can move it down a little bit. Perfect. So that's how you guys can make changes to your mobile view for the hero section. Let's go ahead and move on to the about section, which looks fine. That looks good, and that looks good. Everything compressed correctly. Nothing's like overlapping like as you saw up here. Scroll on down a little bit more. We've got our testimonials, which again, compressed just fine. So I don't really have to change anything. This text right here kind of looks a little big. So if you want, you could just, well, edit the text is what I meant to do. And maybe we make it down to 14 or something like this. And then we can kind of, here we go, drag this in a little bit, make it a little bit taller and center it. So something like this. And it looks like it, weirdly enough, flopped the title and the text right here. So if you go to desktop, remember how the title's on top and the text is down below? It's kind of weird how it flipped it. So what we can do is just drag one up here and then drag the other one down below if we want. And then now it's going to match my desktop version. Again, we can go ahead and edit this button and reduce the text size. So something a little bit smaller, maybe like 12 or 11, and then increase the size and center it. And then also just increase the size of this as well. That looks so much better than what it was a second ago. Scroll on down, we got the contact form, and then we have our footer, which obviously the footer is way too big. So let's go ahead and fix that. Shrink our logo down. We'll put it like that, and then we can maybe put the icons right below it like this, and then we can totally shrink this footer to be a lot smaller. That looks so much better. That was pretty fast. Also, I've got auto fix layout, which is kind of interesting. I've never tried that before, but we could click on it and see what happens. It basically just shrunk my footer a little bit shorter than what I had it, so that's kind of cool. But anyways, now that we're done with that, we can click on save. And we have finished editing our website for the mobile responsive view. Well, we haven't finished because obviously we need to go over here to the next page, and I can't see my navigation because that is open right now. So there we go. So we can go over to the about page if we want to. And now as you can see, we've got our section looks good. I might just shrink this up a little bit more. Yeah, so now that just looks like this. There we go. Looks pretty good, or at least I think so. I think that looks really good. And then that text is fine. Everything compressed. We've got the images. All of that looks good. Yeah, and so does our footer. Okay, so not too many changes to the about page. Let's check services. I think it's good. I'm just going to shrink that up again. And then everything else looks pretty good. Yep. And we will double check our contact page, which I don't think we made any changes to the contact page. Yeah, we could center this image up if we wanted to. We could just kind of do this, make it look a little bit better and maybe shrink it a little bit. Completely up to you guys. That's kind of my personal preference. I think it looks pretty good. Reduce it just a little bit. But yeah, for the mobile version of this website, I think it looks good. Oh, I totally missed this. So let's go ahead and drag that down, that up a little bit. And I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so now I'm going to click on save. And we are done editing the mobile version. But we can go back to desktop. And I forgot to show you guys. Again, all of this is just text. So you can literally click on it and enter in your own personal email right here. And then again, with the phone number, edit the text, put in your real phone number and your real street address for your brick and mortar location for your business. And so that's all we need to change on here. Yeah, and we already went over the map. Okay, I just forgot to tell you guys how to change your text here, but you guys already know. So we'll click on save to finish our work. We can also click right here and click on edit form. I forgot to show you guys. And we've got the form settings for your contact form. First thing is obviously the fields. You can choose what you want here. So if I want to add a new field, I could make it a single choice, short answer, paragraph, or multiple choice right here. We can make it a short answer like this, and it's just going to create a new, let's see, short answer. And so all of these are short answer. So instead of short answer, you could maybe click on this and say phone number. And then the placeholder text could be something like that. Or instead, you could do something like this. And so that's the phone number placeholder text, just like that. So you guys can obviously edit whichever one you want by changing the label and also the placeholder text just by clicking on the little caret icon like this. And then you can also make it a required field. I forgot to show you guys this one. You can just click on this and it's going to make that little asterisk right there, and they can't submit it without doing the little asterisk. Also, our button is totally underneath that. So let's go ahead and change that really quickly. I'm just going to drag that down a little bit, drag the image down a little bit, and now you can see the submit button. That was a little funny. We've got the fields tab, which is what we just went over. We've got the general tab where we've got the form name, which isn't displaying obviously. And then we've got the email that it's going to, which right now that's just the admin email that you create your hosting your account with. If you have a special email that you want all of the contact form entries to go to, you would just put that email right here and it's just going to send to them. You can also view the form submissions like this. So when you click on that, it'll show you all of the submissions. So every time someone enters a message for you, this is where they're going to go, but they'll also go to your personal email, the one that you have listed there. So that's cool. So you can view all of the submissions that you have. We can go over to the button and we can edit the button right here. So instead of saying submit, you could say contact me or something like that, and you can change all of this stuff. This is the show message. So when they hit submit, it's going to say thank you at the bottom. So that's pretty cool. You've got the style of everything, so you can change like the text color and font and stuff, and then also the animation, which we're just going to leave on fade. All right, perfect. So that is how you guys can make changes to all of the pages on your website for mobile responsive, even though we got a little distracted with that contact form because I forgot to show you guys how to do that. So we'll go back to desktop and back to the homepage.
All right, friends, now that we have a fully functioning website completed, I want to show you guys a bonus step, which is going to be showing you guys how to charge for appointments directly on your website. It's really easy to add a payment option on your website to be able to sell services. I'm going to create a consultation service on this website so that someone can schedule a roofing consultation without even having to make a phone call. Check this out.
So if you guys want to charge for services on your website, it's really easy to do. The first thing we have to do is actually create an entire online store on the website, which I know I said I was not going to do, but what can I say? I just wanted to show you guys how to actually charge for services. So it looks like we're going to do it anyways. You're going to click on online store and say add store. The second you do that, you're going to see this new page pop up. So if I go to pages and website styles, not website styles, pages, you'll see that now I'm on the store page right now, which you can't see because obviously the header is invisible. So let's go ahead and change that really quickly by just adding a new blank section, adding a background image to it. Just pick a random picture. Let's just, we're going to use this guy again. I know it's repetitive. You wouldn't actually want to do this, but I don't want to go looking for a picture. Well, actually that looks terrible. Let's do one more. We'll pick one where the guy is centered. Okay. Overlay, and then we're also going to obviously shrink the section just like this. Okay, so we're on the store page. Right after you click online store, it's going to create all of these default products that you basically just need to delete. So the first thing we're going to do is actually go to pages and navigation. If you're trying to just allow people to pay for a service, you don't really need like a giant store page, right? You just need one service. That's it. Let's just pretend we're making a consultation that people can pay for. So directly through your website, they can just schedule a consultation. They don't need a store. So what we're actually going to do is go to the settings button right here and then just hide this page from navigation. So now you can't see it. It's still there. You just can't see it. So there's nothing to click on. Next, we're going to go back to online store and say manage products. And it's going to ask us a couple questions. So name your online store, Summit Roofing. Then it's going to ask the country and currency, continue, or at least for me, I'm in the United States and I use dollars. And finally, you're going to be taken to your store manager dashboard. And so we don't really need to focus on anything except for going over to products really quickly. And we're just going to select all of them and delete them. Done. Now what we're going to do is add a product, and we're going to be adding a digital service right here. Well, it's either a digital or a service, which we're not doing digital because this would be actually sending an employee out there to go look at their roof. So let's do a service or an appointment, which is in beta right now. So actually, let's do an appointment instead. We'll click on appointment, enable appointments. And from here, we can add an image, which we can just leave it blank for now. But normally you would want a picture. Actually, let me go and just add one off camera really quickly. Okay, so I went ahead and just downloaded a picture online and added it here. Obviously, this would be a picture of the actual consultation guy or whatever. Okay, so after you've added your image, we can go over here to the product title and we'll just call it consultation or like roofing consultation. And then we can make a subtitle right here. And then if you want, you can add a ribbon, which would say something like new, but I'm not going to do it. And then down here, we can put down a description, which to be honest, right now, I'm not going to do. So instead, I'm just going to add some dummy text really quickly. Let's just pick something like this, just so that there's like text there so you can see what it looks like, even if it's not actual real words. Okay, so next we can add a price, which let's just say you're going to charge $150 to send someone out there to look at their roof and give them a consultation on what you think it's going to, cost to repair it. So we'll say the price is $150. You can add a discount price if you want, but I'm not going to do it. Ignore categories. Okay, and so for the location, it's required to let them know where it's going to be. But if you're just saying like, oh, this is a consultation, I'm just going to put your home just like this. And then the duration we can say is going to be like an hour and a half, or maybe let's just say 1 hour. And then I'll say the appointment conditions, minimum notice time or something like that. But you guys, it's optional, so I'm just going to leave it off. Okay. So again, this is just an example to show you guys that you guys can charge directly on your website. So I'm going to click on save just like this. And so now I have a roofing consultation for $150 on my website. So now if we go over to my website, so let's just say edit website. I can't open it on a new tab. Okay. So we'll just click on edit website and we'll go over to the store. You'll see that now I have a service available, which again, they're never going to see this page. But now you can see this is the page that they're actually going to see. So they get a picture over here on the left, and then on the right-hand side, it says roofing consultation, certified professional roofing consultation. So for $150, they get it for 1 hour at your home. We can add it to cart, and then here's like a little description about what it is, right? So that's pretty cool. Okay, so now that our product is done, let's go ahead and go back to the home page, because again, you're probably wondering, how are people going to click on that if the store page is hidden? And again, I don't want them to go to a store, because I don't want this to feel like an e-commerce website. I just want this to feel like a business website where they can pay for a consultation, right? And so the way I'm going to do that is I'm literally going to edit this button right here. And remember how I showed you the link to? So instead of a web address where we would put in like a URL, as you can see, we're literally just going to scroll on down and you can see the product that I built, roofing consultation. That's it. Done. So let's go ahead and close out of that guy. Let's go ahead and do it to the same one that's down below. So schedule a consultation. And we're going to change this to roofing consultation. That is literally all you have to do. And so now we're done. We can go ahead and preview the website. So let me go ahead and click on save, preview. And so now when people are looking at your website, they can be like, wow, I really like what you guys do. I like your story. I want to go ahead and schedule a consultation. So we can schedule an appointment or I think, oops. So it looks like appointment is up here and then I said consultation down below. So actually let me go ahead and just make that change really quickly. Click on this and say schedule a consultation. Cool. And now we'll click on save and preview. That's pretty funny. Okay, so now we have schedule a consultation right here as well as down below. And both of them, when you click on it, takes you straight to this page where you can look. Okay, so I got a roofing consultation, certified professional, $150 for 1 hour at my house. Yes, I'm interested. So I can click on add to bag. I get to schedule the time. And so let's just say on the 24th at 1 p.m., you guys can come and I'm gonna book. All right, now checkout is disabled as you can see because we haven't set up a payment method as well as we're in preview mode. So obviously the website can tell that we're not an actual visitor. So let's go back to the editor over here and we'll go over to the online store, manage products one more time. Now from here, we're gonna go back to our dashboard under our store manager. And you'll see that now there's 3 things we have to do. We've added our first product, so there's a check mark. Next, we have to add our online payment and then we can review company information. So let's click on add payment and we can add PayPal, Stripe, and manual payment. I'll let you guys go ahead and add your own payment information, but again, it's really easy. If you wanna add PayPal, you can just click on connect right here and it's literally gonna link you straight to PayPal where you can log into your account and then people can pay you through PayPal on your website, right? So I'll let you guys go through that whole process, but that's how you guys can add your payment. And then after you guys set up your payment provider, which it looks like it gave me a check mark even though I didn't do it. So that's kind of interesting. But then lastly, we can review our company information where we can upload our logo, our company name, and our address and information right here. Perfect. So when we're done, we can go over here. And now that we're finished editing our website, we have a product on there and everything, we can go ahead and publish our website because I want to publish it so that I can show you guys how to actually book your appointment. So we're going to go over here and say, go live. And it's going to ask, are you sure? And we're going to say, yes, go live. And so now it says, congratulations. Anytime someone goes to the domain name that you just purchased, which is Summit Roofing, because I did CAPW for Create a Pro Website.com. So anytime someone goes to that address, your website is ready to go. So now we can view our website. So now, as you can see, when someone goes to your website, they can see all of the hard work that you guys put in, which is pretty cool. And so now they can go over to schedule a consultation, add to cart, and they can say, well, yeah, on the 24th at 1 p.m. is good for me. So let's book it. And then they can check out and you guys will get a notification for the 24th at 1 p.m. that you have a roofing consultation ready to go.
Congratulations on building your website with AI. If you haven't already gotten started yet, be sure to click on that first link that's down in the description to get started by claiming your custom domain name and your business plan today. I'll see you guys in the next video.